So, you own or manage a building in New York City? Then you need to hear this. Electrification is coming for you. It's not an if, it's a when. But the real question, the one that truly matters, is who's in control of what happens next. Today, we're going to break down how you can actually master this huge transition and, most importantly, take back control of your capital. Let's dive in.
Look, let's just start with the hard truth, right? For anyone with property in NYC, building electrification isn't some forward-thinking option anymore. It's a reality, and it's being pushed on you right now by a whole wave of regulations. And that immediately brings us to the most critical question of all. You'd think that when it's your building, your asset, that you're in the driver's seat. But are you? Really? This is where things get tricky and honestly pretty risky for owners who aren't paying close attention. Okay, if you want to stay in control, you first have to understand the forces at play. So let's start with why this is all happening now and what electrification actually means for the pipes and wires inside your building. You know, this isn't just about one law. You should really think of it as a regulatory pressure cooker. You've got Local Law 97, which is the big one, right? It's got these tightening emissions caps that are forcing everyone's hand. But then you add in state climate goals, utilities that are actively planning to restrict natural gas, and now even proposed rules for mandatory cooling. All of it is pushing you in the exact same direction.
So when we keep saying electrification, what are we actually talking about? Let's get a super clear definition here. It's the process of switching your building's core systems, we're talking heating, domestic hot water, away from the stuff we're used to, like gas and oil, and moving them over to electric alternatives. And most of the time, that means heat pumps.
And this is where a lot of people get it wrong. It's so easy to think this is just like replacing an old boiler with a new one. It is not. It's more like performing major surgery on your building. It's a really complex sequence of upgrades. You've got your electrical distribution, maybe utility service upgrades, new controls, and all of it is completely connected. One piece depends on the other.
Okay, so we know what electrification is and why it's happening. Now let's get to the real heart of the problem. Where does it all go wrong for so many owners? I'll tell you right now, the biggest danger isn't that a heat pump is going to fail. It's the process itself. You see, the whole problem starts with this one flawed assumption. A lot of owners think, okay, this is just another line item, a simple equipment replacement. But the reality? Oh, it's a massive infrastructure overhaul that touches your entire financial world, your capital plan, your operating costs, your long-term strategy for the asset. And that gap right there between the assumption and the reality, that's where you lose control.
And these risks aren't just, theoretical. They are baked into the very structure of New York City's old building stock. A ton of properties simply don't have the electrical service to handle this kind of shift. And trying to get that service upgraded by the utility, that can take an unbelievably long and uncertain amount of time. These are huge problems that exist before you even pick a contractor or buy a single piece of equipment.
Which brings us to what we're calling the capital control trap. This is it. This is that critical moment in the process where everything can just completely fall apart. We're going to talk about the single biggest, most expensive mistake you can possibly make.
You have to get this into your head. The projects that go completely off the rails, the ones that just blow past their budgets and their timelines, they don't usually fail because the technology was bad. No, they fail because of the process. Specifically, they fail because owners make huge financial commitments way before they have all the facts.
So what does that bad process actually look like? Well, it's a dangerously predictable story. Step 1. An owner signs a big contract, commits a ton of capital. Step 2. After the money's committed, they discover, whoops, there are massive electrical or utility problems. Step 3. The scope of work suddenly balloons, but the deposits are already paid. And just like that, Step 4, you have completely lost control of the timeline, the scope, and of course, the cost.
It all boils down to this one simple, dangerous reality. If you remember one thing from all of this, make it this sentence. The core risk, the whole ballgame, is that your capital is moving faster than your certainty. You're spending real money based on assumptions, not on verified facts. So, we've laid out the trap. But here's the good news. There is a way to avoid it completely. It just requires a new way of doing things, a new execution model that's designed specifically to put you back in control and to protect your capital.
It's called an owner-side execution model, and its whole purpose is to flip that flawed process right on its head. It's a framework that protects you, the owner, by basically creating a firewall. It separates that initial planning and, most importantly, the verification stage from the actual construction. You know exactly what you're getting into before any serious money leaves your bank account.
So what does the right way look like? Well, the sequence is totally different. Step 1 is all about verification. You confirm your real electrical capacity. You get actual timelines from the utility. Step 2, you confirm all the potential problems before you commit $1 of major capital. Then, your payments are tied to verified milestones, not just promises. And that's how you execute with full leverage and total control.
And there it is again, the golden rule of this new model. The entire goal is to structure your project so that your capital never, ever moves faster than your certainty. Every dollar you spend is backed up by a verified fact, not just a hopeful assumption. And you know, when you adopt this mindset in this process, the whole dynamic just shifts. Electrification stops being this terrifying, reactive expense that you're being forced to deal with. Instead, it becomes a controlled, manageable, strategic transition for your asset.
I mean, the difference is just night and day. With the standard approach, your leverage is low, your capital risk is through the roof, timeline certainty is basically a guess, and you're just reacting to problems. With an owner-controlled approach, you flip every single one of those. High leverage, low risk, high certainty, and proactive control. It's a completely different game.
So, what does this actually get you in the real world? Well, it means you keep your leverage with every single vendor. You dramatically reduce your financial exposure to those nasty, hidden surprises. And critically, this whole process plugs right into your local Law 97 compliance strategy. It also keeps you nimble so you can adapt as the rules and incentives inevitably change down the road.
So let's wrap this up with the most important thing to remember. The push for building electrification in New York City. It's happening. It's unavoidable. But the amount of financial pain and risk that you, the owner, have to absorb in that process, that is entirely optional. And so the one question I really want to leave you with is this. As you look at your upcoming capital projects, and not just electrification, but everything you're planning for your building, just ask yourself this simple but powerful question. Is my capital moving faster than my certainty?